screen share to show you what I've been thinking, but
okay.
We'll talk about that as we go. We're live now, are we?
Okay.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, we're all set.
Okay. As I said, thanks for your time. I just really wanted to check through with regards to, it's really about branding and getting the right name.
Okay.
I own a number of URLs. Paul Griffiths obviously is the obvious one. Then I've got Art Griffo Art. Griffo was my nickname at school. Then of course I've got photographyliveanduncut.com, and I've also got One Camera One Lens, which is a .co.uk. And One Camera One Lens was born from an idea that I had of keeping photography simple, and started a blog about using just one camera and one lens. So that is my immediate dilemma in terms of, do I go ahead and start designing a website based around paulgriffithsphotos.com, which is what it is at the moment, or do I make this switch, as one of the guys from the cohort suggested, to capitalize on photography live and uncut? But does that work with the setting up of workshops? And I'm also talking about seminars now as well. As you know, I made an approach to Fuji and got a reasonably good response.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things to consider. One, provided that in the best of circumstances, it goes wild and you get a ton of sponsors and everybody's following it because they know, is it more important that they know your business or you? Because I have quite a few friends that work and have a studio name that they build up a very good brand around, and people ask them if they work at it when it's only them. So since you are essentially live and uncut, and it's not a company or a place where several people, instructors or people are working, would you rather people know who Paul Griffiths is or know who Live and Uncut is?
See, this is the decision that's got to be made. My way of, if I can just turn that around, my way of looking at that or thinking about that, what is the most recognizable name as things stand at the moment? Obviously, Photography Live and Uncut is more well known in terms of name,
okay,
than Paul Griffiths.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just really, I keep thinking of, like, you know, I take the classic example, Stuck in Customs, as I mentioned. Now, Stuck in Customs doesn't mention anything about Trey Ratcliffe, but everyone knows that it is Trey Ratcliffe.
Do they?
Does that make sense? I think they do. But then, of course, it is a debatable question, isn't it? Whether it's whether the two are linked. Because as far as I know, Trey Ratcliffe hasn't got a treyratcliffe.com website.
You know what? I actually don't know the answer to that because I know he's Stuck in Customs too. So let's go type in treyratcliffe.com. And see. I'm pretty sure he has both. It would be very unintelligent for anybody with his kind of, yeah, he does. It would be really unintelligent for anyone that has his name to not at least have their website reserved.
Okay.
So they're both. I would make the argument that if somebody comes across Stuck in Customs organically, that they would not inherently know that it's Trey Ratcliffe until they do some more deep diving.
But everything with regards to tutorials, with regards to walkabouts, with regards to workshops, runs out of Stuck in Customs. I believe, now you've mentioned it, I think it just reminded me, I think someone mentioned to me that the treyratcliffe.com site is more pertaining to the selling of prints. Is that right?
Yes, that would be my guess looking at the two, where it seems like, yeah, Stuck in Customs seems to be more about his travels and more geared to photographers, where Trey Ratcliffe seems to be more geared towards potential clients as an artist.
Which, as we know, he doesn't necessarily work commercially, but he sells prints via that site. So that brings me back to what my question was, which is now leading me back again to thinking that on a pure basis of being recognized and being able to be found, and the fact that it is a regular show, Photography Live and Uncut, makes sense for it to be the headline act, so to speak, for my website to be designed around.
Well, what is your goal with the website? Let's start there. What is it that you would like the website to do?
The goal with the website is obviously to publish workshops, seminars, and tutorials,
as well as the
show.
Live and right. I think that you can go either way with it. I think that it would make sense for you to keep Paul Griffiths. I don't know if I would keep what was the third one?
The other one was one camera one lens.co.uk, which is purely just a blog. It's not a website as such. Okay,
then I would probably recommend that is it like a free WordPress blog, or is that something that
I think it's on Tumblr, but
okay,
yes, you're right, yeah.
Then I would probably recommend that you change the one camera one lens, or keep that as a blog, but keep it underneath your Live and Uncut.
Yeah.
And it may be that it stays hosted right there, but that there's a link from Live and Uncut that says like our blog kind of thing.
Yes, I'm with you.
You had another one that was personal, that was a variation of your name. Was it Griffo art?
That's a variation of mine. It's the Griffo. There's Art Griffo.
Okay.
And there's Griffo Art. They're both photography based. So Art Griffo Photography and Griffo Art Photography.
And what did those sites do? Or are they
were originally the initial name that I had for my website before I managed to get hold of Paul Griffiths photos. Griffo Art Photography at the moment is another blog, but it's not being. I've just switched the name to be a pointer to a blog, I think, which is a WordPress.
Okay.
But that isn't regularly updated. If anything, I think it's one which I use if this then that, just to forward the stuff onto that. So I'm getting a Tumblr output, and I'm getting a WordPress output. So that's they're not that important as such, but those are names that I also own.
Okay. I would pick 2. I don't think that you need any more than 2. I think that you could have one for your education purposes, which would be the show, your workshops, tutorials, even blogs that have to do with teaching. And the other one would be who you are as a photographer, because who you are as a photographer and who you are as an educator are two different hats that you're wearing, even though you're teaching art and teaching photography. So I would probably keep Live and Uncut because you have a good following. People recognize the name, they recognize the show, and they follow it. So you have a really good basis to build off of for your foundation. And then I would probably keep Paul Griffith Photos as your website for the artist, for the photographer to hire you to take pictures. And then I would cross promote the 2 probably by having a education or for photographers link on your art site, so that it'll redirect people over to there that come across, because you will get a lot of people that are interested in you or are moved by your art that follow you from other photographers that'll be like, oh, I want to know more about this guy. So if they go and they look up and they come across your website because they're searching for your name, which is more likely to bring up your Paul Griffith Photos site, you want them to be able to revert back to your education site so that they can purchase, because that's what kind of clients they are. It's very, very rare that a photographer will be looking to hire you to do photography. So we want to make sure if they find their way there that they get to the right site, and vice versa. If they're somehow come across Live and Uncut and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's really good, I would really love to see his work because he's so educated about everything that's going on, you want them to be able to get back. So having a like the guy behind the lens kind of thing on your educator site.
So on the educated site or educator site, you wouldn't necessarily have a portfolio of your work?
No, I don't think that you need to, because they're 2 different things. If I was going to run like I pretty much all the teaching I'm doing is with the Arcanum right now. But if I was going to push workshops or run a class or do a blog, anything like that, I would probably do it all on one site. But if I had the two separate ones and I was trying to appeal to two different subsets, then I would have an educator site and I would have a work site. If I'm educating, chances are if people are getting to my site because they're interested to hire me to teach them, they've already seen my work and they've probably come across it on social media. So it just takes up unnecessary space and starts to make the website look cluttered, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think you make a point, actually, because people know Jessica Lark.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You've got that's your brand in actual fact. I know you do. Was that Reliquarium?
Yes, the Reliquarium.
So that's the other thing. So, but people know Jessica Lark, so they're going to search for Jessica Lark, and then obviously, if you've got workshops and tutorials, then that's an ideal place to put it. But mine's different. Yes, some people know Paul Griffiths photos, obviously, but they know more of Photography Live and Uncut before me.
Well, people are interested in both. Like, looking at Trey's site right now, he just did something with Fronos, who is Jared Polin. But there are plenty of people who know Fronos photos and wouldn't be able to tell you Jared's name.
Yes.
So until they start doing more of a deep dive into it, they don't actually know who's behind the education. So you have this interesting dichotomy because most photographers are teaching themselves, they're offering their own workshops, they're offering their own education. And with Live and Uncut, you're always featuring other people. So I can see this show developing, and on the upside, that'll give you a lot of borrowed credibility, because I did the same thing before you became my student and before I even knew you were in the Arcanum. When you reached out to me about being on the show months ago and we couldn't hook it up, the first thing I did was go look up and see who else you had on it and the views to see if it was going to be worth my time. Because I get a ton of those. So it's a borrowed credibility thing when people look and go, oh my gosh, he's interviewed so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So it would be awesome for me to be included in that company. Or by comparison, if he's interviewing these people who I follow, then I definitely want to go through all his archives and watch all the other ones he's already done and put forth these people that I would like to see from him. So you have this interesting thing that a lot of people tend to shy away from, where they feel like if they're promoting other people, that it's somehow like training their competition or putting their competition in front of them. And I actually think that that's going to be a strength for you.
Yeah. Thank you. No, it does make sense now. You put it. There was, I forget who actually. I think it was Ray. In actual fact, made the comment when I first put my. I think it's level 22 that I put out, and he made the comment. I think your website is geared totally the wrong way for the way you need to promote your workshops, in the sense that you're not using your strength, which is Photography Live and Uncut, the recognized name.
Right.
So I can work on that. That's great. I can work on that now, because that's clear in my mind what I can do, because I don't necessarily have to set up a website, so to speak, for Paul Griffiths photos. I can basically build that from a WordPress or a Tumblr site quite easily. But using the divert of the URL to that. So and then cross link to each other. So if someone does want to see my work, if someone does want to purchase some work, then they've got that opportunity, or vice versa, going back into the education.
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful, and probably the easiest way to keep both sites clean and concise for who's looking at them.
Yeah. Because I was, if I could just go to screen share myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just before you came online. Where are we? Here we go. Has it come up?
I see your Google page.
No, okay, my Google page. Right, okay, I'll go to that. That's great. So obviously, as you and I both know, we know Valerie Jardin, and I found it very interesting that Valerie's workshops is very close to the start of her menu. Okay. Then we go to Alan Briot, who I recently spoke to, and it's very easy to find his workshops. It's at the first top right-hand corner. And David Noden, who's a hugely popular in this country, a landscape photographer, again, he in actual fact doesn't advertise his workshops until you actually start scrolling down. But he's so well known in this country, he's very easy to find. And the other one is Trevor Cole, who's based in Ireland. Again, his courses and tours are in the first part of his website here.
That's a good indicator. Whatever is most important to you should be towards the front of your tabs.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So that's a good indicator that they're probably making as much or more of their income from teaching as they are from photography.
Exactly right. Yeah, I spotted this when I was talking to Bruce when we were discussing websites and that, and suddenly appeared, and I thought to myself, I can see what they're doing here. I can see that the links are being immediately, your attention is obviously drawn to the left-hand side as if you're reading a book, and the first things that are there are workshops and courses and tutorials.
Now, so I would also make the point that of those websites that we just scrolled through, that I would be most interested off the bat reading none of the info to learn more about Valerie, because her website is so clean. Clean and minimal translates to quality always.
Yeah, very true. Couldn't agree more with you. A point that I made with Bruce, and I did say, well, I know Alan won't be able to listen to it, but I thought Alan's was very, very old, very sort of table set. I used to do a lot of website building using Dreamweaver. And then first way you start was to create tables and cells, which is exactly how his website has been developed. Yes, Valerie's is very, very clean. It's not confusing when you look at it, is it? You know exactly where you're going to, and you can see the pages. So it's a good insight, that one. Very good. Okay. Well, you've helped me a great deal there, actually, Jessica, because I was getting to a point. I was looking at it today, a couple of sneaky half hours while I was at work, because everyone's out, but I'm holding the fort, and my work starts at the back end of the week. And I thought, well, I'd have a look around, and I thought I need to get this fixed in my mind now as regards to how to design the website, which is really, as using Squarespace, is just a case of drag and drop. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, well,
lovely.
That's good.
Yeah, I'll get on to that, and then obviously I'll start doing the studying up of the website for my next level, and I'll put that in. And I'm in the process of, for the Path of Protege, I'm in the process of doing the short tutorial movies, but I know basically that's sort of on hold at the moment from the emails you sent.
Yeah, it is. But just until we get the new website update rolled out, and then we can start, because the path is going to change to train you guys on the new web format. So what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to have you guys go through and then have you and apprentices have just enough time to get used to the way everything works and then change it on you.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big update. I'm really excited about it. It's really going to take the Arcanum experience as a whole to the next level. So I think it's going to be good. As far as your websites, I know we were looking at the names, but how are you feeling about your websites in general with how they're laid out and what they're accomplishing for you? Do you want to look at them while we're here?
Yeah, that'd be great if we could. I'll go to screen share again, and I'll show you basically where I'm at.
Okay.
So we got that. If we go right, so basically, as things stand at the moment, in terms, can you see this? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is behind the scenes. This is, no one can see this.
Okay.
This is as things stand at the moment. I hope this will come up. Just got quite a few windows. I'm going to close some windows down here. Hold on. Let's go back. Right. This is the front page as everyone can see now. This is the live. This is the live front page. When I click on the temporary link here, that takes me straight to the blog Photography Live and Uncut, which is on Tumblr.
Okay.
And really all that is a blog of all the shows that I've done. You scroll down.
Okay.
With all the relative links to that individual. This is Dade Freeman example, his website, Twitter, Google Plus, and that. So that's what everyone is seeing live now.
Okay.
So if we go back to the ideas that I've got, I originally came up with this idea. You just have to wait for it to load a little bit. It was slow. This was the original idea that I had, but I came to the conclusion that looking at it, it didn't really tell me anything, which is what this is all about, apart from this line in the center, the show, workshop, online tutoring, portfolio, and about. And that's where I was getting stuck, so to speak. So the latest, so if I just show you my latest idea as a front cover is this one. When it loads, hopefully it does, is this one.
I like this. I think it might be a little bit stronger in black and white because there's so much color differentiation that plus the grid.
Good point.
I think might be a little visually distracting, and it's going to be hard for people to read the text overlaid. So I might test it in black and white. The other option is to also change the opacity so that it's more faded behind it. Yeah. So that the text will stand out further.
Yeah. All these is a screenshot. It's, so I can. You're talking about the grid and not make it a grey, make it white. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm thinking all of the photos together might be a little more uniform if you take all of this and we'll assume we put them all together and it's a JPEG.
Yep.
So if we made that the JPEG itself black and white so that you weren't getting distracted by the color, I think we'd still have all the images in the faces, which is good because anytime people see a face they recognize, they're going to be like, oh, that's Karen Hutton, or so I think that's good. I'm just worried about it being a little bit too much color and too many squares for people to know where to look. I like the overall look of it, but the other problem is that if you're doing white text, then you should not have the white grid. It should probably be gray or black.
I'm with you.
Or do it in reverse and make the text in black and make it lighter behind. But I think either way, that turning the opacity down on the JPEG so that it's faded so that you can still see it, but it's definitely secondary. It's like the background. I think that'll help it pop out more.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's good. This is, as I say, just a trial because there's obviously some faces that you will know. Karen, as you spotted straight away, Joseph Lenashke and Rob Knight, Martin Bailey.
Too, who I also.
But there's a few others that I need to add in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really good. I like the layout, and I think that fits really well to promote the show, which I think at the moment is probably that's your strongest card to play in your hand right now is the show. Yeah. That's what most people know and will recognize. So I think that's really good. And I think right now having those kind of faces in the front, again, add borrowed credibility.
Okay. So then the next thing that I've got here, can you see on the left-hand side here, these pages which I've set up? Can you see where my cursor is? You can. So obviously I've only just done this literally about the last half hour. So no, there aren't any links working off this particular page.
Okay.
But when I was using this other one, which I came to the conclusion just wasn't going to work, which is the street scene. I'm hoping this works. So that was a front page before, and this then went to effectively the guests again, which should load shortly. But of course, then there we go. The guests are coming up now. And then we have the links across the top. And I know these are not in the right order because I've got to move these around, but I was thinking along the lines of obviously doing some text on I've done here about me, for argument's sake. A little bit of work there, which it needs to be text improved on. But I thought basically an idea of putting a form in for people to send in like an application, which would then obviously give me their website and their email address, which I could then obviously forward details to them as regards to when a workshop or seminar was coming up.
So they would come in and they would fill this out to say they're interested in attending the workshop?
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay, how is that different than the subscribe that's on the homepage? Just that it's giving you more info?
Hold on a minute. Where's subscribe?
On the original homepage, it's probably not working, but on the original homepage that you had a subscribe button about halfway down.
Hold on one sec. This one?
Yeah, or get notified. I guess that's it.
Get notified. Sorry, yeah, the link doesn't work. That's probably where it would link from.
Okay. So if they click get notified, they're getting the document that you just showed me, the chance to fill out that form?
Yeah, that's my idea, with a bit of information as regards to what the workshops and seminars would entail.
Okay.
Because obviously I haven't got any images of workshops taking place or seminars taking place.
Right.
I could make something up, obviously, to start off with.
I think your biggest issue is that that's a lot of information and you're going to lose a lot of potentially interested people just because they won't have the time to fill it out. So they'll go, oh, I'll get to it later. Or unless they are diehard fans, new people coming may go click, like subscribe is usually put in your email address and that's it, which is enough for you to get in touch with them.
Right.
I'll give you some insight from the Arcanum as well. With us talking about it, we have a lot of temporary and partially filled out applications, and it's because there's too much info. So I think it would be probably better to have them just subscribe, put their email in, and then maybe follow up with them a week or two later and go, hey, you know, we would really love to get some more info from you, and just have them fill out the forms a little bit at a time. Yeah. Rather than trying to get them to fill out an entire form and make a commitment. Like, you want slow points of contact until they're really hooked on you, and then they're willing to sit and put the time and energy in to fill all that in. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. It's the same thing with photography clients too. Like, the more you require from them, the less people will bite off on it.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Yes, just these links I can take out. We should do. I'm not going to use these now.
Okay.
I can just remove those down while I think about it. So, okay. I think one of the things which slightly concerns me, though, is that apart from that front page of imagery, this page, as things stand at the moment, I've got to think up something along the lines of creating more imagery on the other pages. The YouTube links, for instance, that gives you all the, if you've missed an episode, for argument's sake.
Okay. When you go to the show guests and we have all those pictures of them, are they able to click on the pictures of the guests and go to their episode?
No, but I did think about that.
Okay. If it was me and I was trying to make it efficient, I think that we're getting a little bit redundant, because you have the show guests, which is them saying I'm interested in the show. So my inclination, if I was looking at this, would be to be able to mouse right over it and click on the face of who I want to be and be like, oh, okay, I'd like to watch Curtis's. I'd like to watch K-Hut. I'd like to, you know, I want to be able to click right from there. So if all that is an image, then there's really no purpose to this entire page, because what is it serving the person that's sitting on the website?
when I put that together, I thought, I wonder if that would be better if each one was a link to the actual show.
Yeah, I think it would be. If you could do the grid like this and have each of these images be a button that takes you to the show, I
Yeah.
think that would be the most efficient way of having a lot of information on a page with it still looking clean and presentable where people could just click on it.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing that, you don't need the YouTube links.
No, exactly right.
Which takes another tab off, which makes it cleaner and allows people to focus. The less options people have, the easier it is for them to commit.
Yeah. No, yeah, that does make sense. Actual fact, when I put that page together, there's two ways of doing it. As you know, obviously you create it as a scrolling set, or you create it as one single JPEG as a backdrop, so to speak. And I did think at the time, I thought, I think there's an opportunity there to make each link to its own show.
Yeah, I love the idea of each of these tiles being a link that goes to their show, getting rid of the YouTube links then. And then if you want to scroll down and underneath this, have like an alphabetical order of their names underneath this.
Yeah.
Right below so that people can click on the names or the name of the show if the shows have individual names, or having their name and then just a very, very short, it's all got to be on one line. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Martin Bailey discusses, this camera, or, so-and-so discusses marketing, or, whatever it is. I think that would probably be the best way to have all of the information, have it clean, have it accessible, and have it be really, really simple for everyone to follow so no one gets lost. Because as soon as people get lost or don't know what to do, they leave.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would have on this particular page, which is called the show guests, you'd have both. In terms of the image would link to the show, and also at the bottom it would be in alphabetical order, which would also link to the show.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the easiest way. That way people that are more literary would be able to just read about it. And also because one, if they're coming on and they don't know any of the people, then they're not going to be like, most people, they'll recognize a face and they'll go, oh my gosh, I love that person, I want to watch them.
Yeah, very true.
If they don't, then they might go down and go, oh, I really wanted to hear about the new Canon camera that came out. I see that he did that. So having it break down that way is really helpful too. But I don't think that you need 2 pages, and you want to keep the tabs to a minimum.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
It looks good though. I like the way it's shaping up.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? You get these ideas in the middle of the night, and you think, oh, and then you forget them, and then it came to me today. I thought, I remember Ray made this comment. I thought, I've got to have a backdrop of the of the guests that I've had, and lead it from there. But I just wanted to sort of pass it by you at the same time. But yeah, those points are a good point. Having those 2 links on there was ridiculous to have the one showing the image and then the next one does the business. You might as well have it all together doing one, because it is.
I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
I would also be inclined to take your workshop form and put that under your contact tab. So I would get rid of the workshop.
Yeah, I was thinking of
the information one. Like, I'm fine with you having a workshop tab that says, hey, these are our upcoming events.
Yes.
But having something they have to fill out information, that's the point of a contact form. So I would have them separate.
That was another thing that I thought about this morning, actually. So on the contact me, so to speak, underneath that, have the workshop form. Okay. Good. Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we've covered everything, quite honest with you. It's that was very helpful.
Okay, awesome. How are you feeling on your path right now?
Yeah, very good actually. I really wish I could get stuck in a little bit more, but with the workload I've got, I'm going to have to sort of just wait for this next 2 or 3 weeks to pan out the way, and then when it's out there, I'll be rocking on basically. As you can see, I've been starting to do some groundwork for my next level 23 with regards to the guys that I associate with that have got good workshop advertising sites, for want of description. Although I think really, as we mentioned before, Alan's is the opposite side of the coin, the one which doesn't look that attractive, but I know he does get workshops going. Not a lot, but he does do workshops. So that's the one which we can say is not the pretty one, but it does the job.
Well, it's both. He's probably, it's not his website that's selling it, it's him.
Exactly.
And his reputation as an instructor that will forgive the fact that his website is okay.
Exactly, yeah.
However, if we're building it up, presenting and putting your best face forward, especially for people that are coming in that aren't necessarily coming because they know you specifically, like if they come across because they know the show, they might not even know that you do workshops or that you're the head of the show. It might be the kind of thing that, they tune in because, I love Karen Hutton. I'm going to watch her because I saw this thing about her being on her show. It might be her followers from her putting it forward and saying, hey, I'm going to be on here tonight. And then they find you organically and go, well, who's the guy that does this show? Because he's got a lot of really awesome people. Oh, he does workshops too. Oh my God, his work is great. So that's like the mentality that we want to kind of let them float through. But I think that you're well on your way. And I think that you have a really clean, geometric kind of site going on, which is really visually appealing, which I think will appeal to all of the artists and the creatives that respond to that naturally. So
I think also you're talking about there's people like Ibaronex with the Candid Frame. Again, another website's the Candid Frame. Who's the host of that? Oh, it's Ibaronex Perello. But of course he's got the name with the show, and I'm coming in sort of roundabout, ask about face, if we want to be description. Really, I've got the show name now. I've got to bring the Paul Griffiths name up to alongside that.
Well, that might be really simple, and just having Live and Uncut with Paul Griffiths or hosted by, like it's okay for you to just add your name on, leave the show name as top billing because that's what has the following right now. But it's okay to go, hey, by the way, guys, I'm the mastermind behind all this. So if everybody's always curious about the guy behind the curtain. So that's a good thing. Yeah. So I would absolutely put your name on it. I think you've earned it, honestly.
Okay,
And it's interesting because I talk about borrowed credibility a lot when you're working with other companies and other people, but it's interesting that you'll actually be getting a little bit of borrowed credibility from yourself because this is your show and you created it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, but I think that you're doing really well, and I think that you're on the right track. So I think when you're done playing with it and you're ready to like test it and go forward, like you can just drop me a link and I'll give you some feedback again on it. And when you're ready, definitely put it in the community too, because I bet you some of the others will have some really good insight and catch some broken links and stuff.
The community's great, there's no doubt about it. You look at the conversation and the chai hiking which is going on, which is absolutely brilliant. I just wish that at the moment I could spend more time with it, but I can't. But no, it's invaluable, which is what the Arcanum's all about. The invaluable comments you get from your fellow apprentices. It's well worth the experience.
Yeah, they're pretty good, and there's a couple of you guys that are doing other things in NBC season right now. So that's the benefit too, is that you get to work at your own pace. So as long as you're feeling like it's fulfilling you, I'm totally okay with you taking your time. If you're taking your time because you're busy and not because you're feeling stalled out at a level.
No, not stalled out at all. I've got loads of things, writing things down, making notes on laptops and iPads and all sorts of stuff. It's just, it's just the workload at the moment. I say we're a bit quiet at the moment for the next 2 days, but then basically from about Thursday onwards for about the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to be banged out with work, and this is going to have to take a backward step for the moment. But I'll be back in there. Don't worry.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
all right, did we cover everything you wanted to?
Covered everything. Thank you for listening, Jessica. Really appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers. Bye for now. Cheers. Bye-bye.